Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Time Will Tell, the podcast about the story, maybe a little bit of the story about Drake Bell's It's Only Time.
It's only time. It's only time. It's only time. It's
Yeah, welcome back, everyone. So it feels like 2 days ago that we recorded the last episode. It's crazy.
It really does feel like only a few days.
Yeah.
Funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know why. Anyways, today we gonna jump into I Know. And if you have seen the last episode, you probably noticed that we didn't know the set list of the track list of It's Only Time, because I think we said I think you said it's I Know, and then I said no, it's Do What You Want. And now we checked, and it's I Know.
The irony was that you didn't know.
I didn't know. Yeah. I don't know. I always remembered when a Periscope ended that Do What You Want starts. But maybe is that maybe the case in the live DVD? Probably.
Oh, it could be, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But wait, do I have the live DVD here? I don't think so. I can't. I mean, I can see it right now. But yeah. So it's I Know, and it's I think the only track of the record that had a music video.
Oh, yeah, that's
Right.
a good point.
I mean, Found a Way doesn't count in that case.
No. Well, I mean, that wasn't on the album, was it? So.
Oh, I forgot to open my drink.
Oh, the obligatory can open.
Yeah.
ASMR. Here we go.
Enjoy, guys. Wonderful.
It was effective.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. So today will be the deep dive into the multi-tracks of I Know, which I think is a pretty popular Drake Bell song.
Yeah.
It's one of his most well-known, for sure. And maybe the music video plays a part of that.
Yeah. It's kind of it's bothering me that I Know and It's Only Time was released in 2006, and that was just maybe 2 years before most productions were turned into HD standard. And it kind of bothers me that we don't have a HD version of that music video, because it's kind of Drake doesn't have so many music videos, especially from back then. And the video is really cool, but it's the quality is so annoying to me. And I wonder if Universal ever releases these old videos in better quality, maybe at least the master tapes, because probably that's because it's 2006, and probably it was still shot onto maybe a Betacam tape or something.
Possibly.
It was I know for a fact that even until 2010, a lot of stuff was shot on tape for some reason. I don't know why. But maybe it was digital. I don't know. But I know. We should have checked the chart position of that song.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Because I wonder. I can ask ChatGPT actually. Because I want to know how successful it was. Wait. I'm gonna ask.
Okay.
Hey, how successful was I Know by Drake Bell?
Hey there. So I Know by Drake Bell was actually one of his singles that got a decent amount of attention back in the day. It wasn't a chart-topping blockbuster, but it did become pretty popular among his fans, especially those who followed him from his Nickelodeon days. So it had a bit of a niche success and a lot of nostalgic love around it.
Do you know the chart position of the song?
'Cause I know Yeah, absolutely. So, from what I remember, I Know didn't really hit any major mainstream charts like the Billboard Hot 100 in a big way. It was more of a fan favorite and kind of floated around in a more niche music circles. So, it didn't have.
Okay, it's fine.
So in other words, it sort of did all right.
So sometimes ChatGPT is like really dumb. Like do you know the chart position? Yeah, of course. And then like, no, it was more like a fan thing. Like, there's no chart. Yeah, whatever. Okay, I believe it's not right though. I think I Know was in the charts at some
Okay.
point. I think so because I mean it was successful and it was a universal release. And they had promotion going on. He was on TRL. He was performing I
Yes.
Know. That is, I think, the first performance of I Know I ever saw in my life.
Possibly could be mine as well, where he sat on the stool.
Yeah, and some people were like making like, and he was laughing. He was laughing while playing. That was cool.
It's always better when you know, and I know, and I know. It's always better when you know, and I know, and I know. It's always better when you find out we've been lying, cheating, baby. Give me a sign.
Because he, like other musicians, probably they would have stopped the song because they couldn't continue after that. But he
I
was
see,
like
yeah.
not missing a chord. But yeah, also that's also like bothering me that we don't have all these all these performances in good quality because the Drake Bell Central was the person who I think recorded all these videos from the TV and uploaded it.
Right.
There was even like a media, like a Drake Bell videos website. I think like I don't know what name it was.
Like a
maybe.
fan thing, yeah.
Yeah, but it was specific for videos. I think it was called Drake Tube or something, maybe
Oh, okay.
something like that. And I think the host name was Lauren. That's what I
Right.
remember. I think she was a really big fan, and
Guess she'd have to be, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
To put all the effort
yeah,
in.
but yeah, believe it or not, I think I talked to her like 10 years ago because I was asking her, hey, do you still have all these original files of these videos? Because the quality is really like bad. Like it's because like when you uploaded something to YouTube back then, it was not going higher than 240p something.
Yeah.
And she said, no, I don't have them anymore. So I think this is all we can get, like these low quality stuff. Yeah, because we can't get into TV archives. That's not happening. Yeah, but what can we? I want to say something about I Know about
Okay.
one performance, and I'm not sure if you ever noticed. I think it was on Riches and Kelly when they performed I Know. I think I don't know if it was CJ Abraham who was playing the organ there.
Oh, I
or
know
if
what
it
you're going to
was,
say.
was it him playing the organ?
I think it was it Oh,
It could be someone else because you never saw really like close-up shots of the other
No,
persons.
yeah.
Like besides Drake.
could have
but,
been organ. You
like,
might be
the-
right. It's definitely some keys.
The person who played the keys, like I don't know why, but there were so many wrong chords going on there. I think like something was off there. Maybe it
Yeah.
was not the key player, but I don't know. It was weird.
Oh, yeah. This is a really good point. So it was. I think it was during the the chorus where the song goes from major to minor in the chorus,
Oh,
but the organ or you
continue
know,
to
whatever
play
ins-
minor or something.
Yes, yeah. And it was about the most horrendous dissonant sound there is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but that's something I noticed from that performance. I think it's somewhere on YouTube.
Okay.
At least I've seen it. I hope it didn't disappear from YouTube because I know I seen that.
Yes,
And I think
It was the full band, wasn't it? With like
full
Mike on the guitar and
full
yeah.
band, same as on the Conan O'Brien show, which was
Yeah.
like probably not the same person on the keys because it sounded better. Yeah, but these, like, I think it's like crazy what they did there, because it's like actually really live. It's not like playback. They had no backing track at all. It was completely live, and Drake was on the piano, which wasn't, which he didn't do a lot in like 2006. I mean, and he really played the piano. It was no playback or something. So
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. I mean, it goes to show, doesn't it, with the, you know, slight human errors, that it obviously wasn't a playback.
Yeah, and
Which is a nice thing, I think, because that's what you enjoy, is, you know, the human aspect of people getting together and performing.
Yeah, and I think they even had 3 or 2 backing singers, like female vocalists.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure one of them was his girlfriend back then, Melissa.
Oh.
I am not sure,
maybe.
but I think she was on one of the performances, and I think
Okay.
it was also her in the music video.
Right.
And
That
I
would
think
make sense.
And I think it was also her in the artwork of the album, I think. But
Okay.
yeah, and I don't know if I think we can say this. I don't know if it's public, but like maybe not. Have you ever checked out the not released Disney version of I Know?
Is this with the alternate lyrics?
There's just like one different line in there.
Yeah.
And he's singing to change your mind at any time.
Guess again, you've been known to change your mind at any time. Who will fill you?
No, he's not singing. What I think it's the first verse, like all alone. Guess again, you've been known to take the hand of any man. But he's like to change your mind at any time. And when you don't know that, but like when you listen to it, that doesn't fit in there at all. Like it's not like it doesn't. I'm wondering, is the like any man, is that rhyming? Guess again. Yeah, it's rhyming, but anytime doesn't rhyme. Oh, that rhymes. But anyways, it's weird.
I think possibly some of that is going to be the like the demo-itis thing, which is what we're just used to hearing is what's right.
Yeah, true. But I wonder why. First of all, why wasn't this released? And second, why in the first place were there these Disney versions? Because we also had like a Makes Me Happy Disney radio edit. Why?
Yeah.
What's the point? And also there were also different lyrics.
Yeah.
So, and I wonder, was this done on purpose, like with the different takes, or did they do these mixes before Drake or whoever decided, let's change the lyrics on these songs and not give them the
really
new
good point.
versions? Like,
Yeah. We'd have to, I guess, ask the man himself, I guess.
I think he's sleeping right now.
I'm sure even if we don't find out this episode, we could maybe throw it in next episode.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out. I shouldn't say this in every episode, I think, because I'm not trying to find out stuff. But but yeah.
But obviously, we want to give the correct information as well, don't we?
Yeah.
Which we're aware of.
Yeah, but like safe to say, there is a Disney version existing, which was not released, I think, but also like no one's missing out because like I think it doesn't have any differences.
I don't remember. Not
Besides that
obviously.
one line, and maybe the mixing is like slightly different, but I don't know.
Yeah. The only thing that anyone would be able to really be against is just that one sentence.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, no, sorry. I was just going to say, just to speak back on when you were talking about Drake performing this song as well live.
Yeah.
Which, of course, he does all the time, especially on solo sets where it's not a band either. He will do this song very often. Mm-hmm. And there's something I just want to mention. I was wondering when to, but Drake has a very unique way of playing this song compared to what the album actually has.
Yeah.
which is very different. And I'm sure he's probably aware, but I wonder why. Should I get into that now?
Yeah, why not?
Do you think? Okay. So, anyone that has seen Drake perform this song live, you'll know that in the verses he's doing this. So I'll demonstrate it for you, then I'll explain what he's doing, and then what the difference is in the actual album. So he's doing. So he's doing that.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, I'm not here to question Drake and what he does. You know, it's his song, and you know, fine. It's just an observation that when it's the C major 7, C major chord, Drake always plays C minor after that. A bit like in the chorus, which is what happens in the chorus, even on the record.
I never noticed that.
But the actual song, the recorded version, shall I say, does the C major 7 to E flat major 7,
Oh.
not C minor.
Yeah.
So let me just play you that in context of how it would be. It just sounds a bit different, but it is what the album's doing.
Yeah.
So, and Drake I've never once seen him do that.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe getting to the other chord is like faster or something. I mean, he's really good at chords and guitar, like he can even play like solo things.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just because he prefers it that way. Maybe it was even written that way and they just didn't do it in the studio like that.
I doubt it, because literally all the instruments are going towards E flat major 7. Like the bass is playing in E flat, the piano's doing that. It's only Drake when he plays it live, he plays C minor. Which, just for a little bit of theory for the geeks out there like me, C minor and E flat are almost the same chord.
Yeah,
they are relative major and minors to each other, which is a music theory term, but they share almost the same notes.
Yeah.
But so you can kind of get away with it. It like doesn't sound wrong. It's just something I've always wondered why that was the choice.
You can get away with it, but we
we know
Drake. We know. Like you thought no one would like find out this secret. Like, but 20 years later, we got you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. The other thing as well, it's not strictly the same vein in that it's actually a different chord, but the way he plays the actual chorus, you know, the I know bit, he's doing something like this. Something like that.
Yeah.
Which is essentially an E minor chord to an E minor with a major 7 in there, to an E minor 7, to A7, which is what the album's doing. It's just the voicing of that is totally unexpected, because he's actually moving the root down, but it doesn't continue to go down.
Yeah.
So it's a slightly unusual choice. As opposed to maybe something like... It was a bad example, but you get the idea, where you've got the same pitches that are descending.
Yeah.
I don't know. But just an interesting thought.
Yeah, that's how I also play it. Like I play it the way he did it on the TRL. I mean, not exactly, but I tried.
I mean, that
my
is
best.
what he's doing on there.
Yeah. I don't know. I think probably for that pre-chorus thing. I mean, for me, it's the pre-chorus, like the partner. I know, and I know. That's for me the pre-chorus.
Yeah, I suppose it is really, isn't it? Yeah.
And to be honest, I think the way he did it is better than the way he could have done it, because I think if you don't have really like a bass instrument with you, the chords doesn't sound as full. Especially
Yeah.
the notes that's supposed to go down, which
Yeah.
he goes up again, because it wouldn't sound as full as like maybe a piano, and
Yeah,
But
I
the
get
way
that.
he plays it sounds better, I think, than doing it like you could also like you could do it different, but I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. The other thought was it could also just be the open chord, like
Yeah. It doesn't sound so good, I feel. Because I play it sometimes like that, and whenever I play it, I don't like it so much that way.
okay. Is that also again just because you're used to it? I'm just playing devil's
Probably, yeah.
advocate.
But also because I don't like to look at what strings I hit, because I have to make sure I hit the three big strings only.
And you play it upside down.
And
so.
I play upside down. So for me these strings are on the bottom and not on
Yeah.
top. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just a couple of points. I think that was everything that I wanted to mention with that, but it was
Yeah.
more in particular the E flat major 7 instead of C minor, which do sound very different.
yeah. Before we dive into the stems, there's maybe two things we can like mention. Like, first of all, and that's probably I will probably mention this on every episode we do. Like the way they did it on the live concert DVD, like with the whole brass orchestra, not orchestra, but like the classical brass band was so good. Like the intro, it's totally missing on the album now. Like you always want to have that intro there.
Plus Mike's noodling
Yeah,
over that G chord vamp.
yeah,
It's lovely, yeah.
yeah. And these horns and stuff that kind of it's missing in the studio version for my ears. And another thing I think we should have mentioned in the Periscope episode maybe, like for younger people, it's maybe important to know that 2006 was already a year where the music was already like, I mean, the mainstream music, it was already going into another direction. And that kind of music Drake made, like a good example might be I Know, because it represents the whole record, I think, from the sound. And that was nothing which major deals usually would, major labels usually would release on a like they wouldn't like on mainstream music. Like they wouldn't throw this in the charts and see how it like if it make the charts actually, because it wasn't selling back then. Music was not sounding like that in 2006 anymore. Like what Drake did on that record, basically he was like 5 to 10 years too late. Like I mean really power pop, that style was the last time we saw a record like that, which kind of made it not as big as it should, but made it big, was a Jellyfish, like Spilled Milk, and Belly Button.
Which was the 90s, obviously, early
1991, 1993, and then they stopped because, I mean, they had musical differences, but also I think they just didn't make money with it because, like, Nirvana was like introducing the grunge genre. It was really, really great that Drake even got that major deal. I don't know how he got that deal, actually. I think they just it was probably because of Nickelodeon, like because of his acting. So he was just
his
lucky.
credentials.
He was just lucky to be able to release like his music in the way he wanted it to sound like.
Yeah.
And
I also...
yeah.
Sorry.
Even though I think I Know sounds really like something the general public would love. Like it still sounds kind of mainstreamy to me. Like the chorus
Yes.
is
It's
really
very commercial, isn't it?
It's totally commercial. Sounds like a hit. I
Yeah.
don't know why it wasn't bigger.
Yeah.
but-
It could just be as you say, the wrong time, and it was just an
Too late.
unlucky,
He was
deal of the
too
cards.
late. It's just so that I think that's the main reason he's not like he didn't make it bigger than what he did, because he was just too late. Because even back then, many people like said he would have been a huge star if he was if we had the 70s now. So
Yeah.
and it's just so tragic because these songs they are so good, like and especially for his age. Like I mean, now he's like an old man now, but like he back then he made these records with like 20 and 20 years old people back then were supposed to make electronical music. Maybe that's what what the audience wanted to hear, and he didn't do that. And I think that's a reason why it didn't work so good. But I'm actually glad he didn't change these songs, because maybe probably someone I mean I'm pretty sure some of the label probably told him we need to have different songs, or we need to change these songs, like in the Really Big Shrimp episode where they made that shitty remix of Makes Me Happy. Like something like that must have happened, and somehow he was lucky to not change his songs. That's I don't know. Maybe we will figure out in another episode, but yeah, it's tragic in some way.
And I hope I don't speak out of turn and I can say this, but I remember hearing that there was a little bit of a back and forth push between, you know, all the producers of this, I guess including Drake, and the label wanting less of a band feel to the songs.
That's something so stupid to say. Like, let's make less of a band.
We want to dumb this down.
Why? What? Like this is music. Like this is so musical. This is not like, and I mean they could have known before making the deal, because like he had a lot of music on the show already, and his first record also didn't sound. I mean, it was earlier, but it still didn't sound like what the music sounded back then. So I don't know, but
I mean, maybe that's why. I don't know.
And also, also we need to figure out why did It's Only Time only sell like, I don't know, 200,000 CDs, and then they didn't do new ones. I think like something like that. Why?
Yeah,
it was sold out, I guess.
Even though that print of them sold out. Yeah, exactly. It baffles me.
So Universal, if you see this, like you can still like reprint CDs, like, or better, you do it on vinyl, because our vinyl was sold out. But like, I don't get it. This was like really successful. It wouldn't have been sold out.
I mean, it was, wasn't it? But it would have been sold out again.
it wouldn't have been sold out if back then, if it wasn't like a success.
Yes.
So I don't get why don't you do new CDs if it sells so good? Like,
the idea of having a very limited run, which was not for the purpose of being a limited thing, seems.
And I really
so
want to know
silly.
why, because this must mean that they didn't want to have this music, this kind of music, like being so successful.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the message behind that? Like, it's sold out. We should do new CDs, but we don't do it. What's the message? What's the message behind that? Like, Drake did exactly what a big major label wants him to do.
Yeah.
He like sold out shit, and they like just said no, we don't, like, it's too expensive, or what?
It's probably a question for a future guest.
Yeah, I know, but it's making me so angry.
So Kai, he could breathe in for 4, out for 7,
and then never mind. We should not talk about this right now, because we will have bonus episodes and all that stuff.
Yeah. Shall we dive in?
We should. Otherwise,
Let's do it.
We will have another hour of me being angry about Universal.
Yeah. Yeah, on a happier note, let's dive into the multi-tracks.
Yeah. Actually, we don't have them, guys. So.
Oh yeah, just kidding.
Just kidding. So we will check Found Away multi-tracks again. No.
You can just imagine someone listening to this would be like, "Okay, turning off."
Yeah, we lost one. We lost one view now. Like
it was Drake himself. It was like, right. That's funny. Yeah, it makes sense. All these tracks have the drums at the top. I guess it's just the way they worked. A couple of things I guess I should probably say in terms of the crediting of this. Again, it says that it's produced by CJ and Mike for this. Oh, actually, no, sorry. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to redo that. So a little bit for the crediting of this. This song only says it was credited by Mike, not CJ in terms of production.
But also,
which is an interesting one.
Yeah, but also we forgot to mention that the whole record was mixed by Rob Jacobs.
Absolutely.
But I think CJ and Mike did pre-mix it, and he didn't mix it from like the raw tracks.
Yeah.
And Rob also, like, I talked I'm in contact with him since maybe 7 years or something, because he mixed some stuff from my records as well. Not full records, but like songs. And I think he wasn't involved like in the recordings. He just was like, he was working for
just
Universal
the mix engineer.
and was mixing, and he met Drake once, I think. And but the whole record was like, I think like the final mixes were made by him. Just wanted to mention that.
Of course. No, that makes sense. The other thing, which ties in exactly to what you said about Rob Jacobs, is in the first multi-track, which is for the kick, I think you are correct to say that Mike and probably CJ as well did a rough mix, because I will just quote something here. On the kick comment, there's like a comments box on Pro Tools, and it had, didn't do any replacements on the drums, feel free if you think it needs it, which, as you can see, they definitely did add something else.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming that Mike and CJ would have indeed done a little bit of a pre-mix, if you like.
Yeah.
The other things as well being that these particular drums were tracked or performed by Joe Travers, who was a Grammy award-winning drummer, and apparently he was also the drummer in Joe Satriani's band as well. So, which I wasn't aware.
Do we know if he played something on the unreleased songs, like Our Love? Who was the drummer on that? Like,
no, it wasn't him.
Okay.
No, I don't remember who it was, but it was not him. He did, however, play on "It's Only Time," the song, and also "Break Me Down."
Oh, wait a second! I think I think I have him on. I have it on Facebook. I wrote a few. I had a chat with him like maybe 3 years ago or something, because I wanted to. No, it's longer. It's longer actually. I wanted to find out which set he played. Can you tell me his name again?
Joe Travers.
So now we talk.
Oh, it could be like Travers. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let me check, because I definitely. Or was it Joey Finger?
No. Joey was also in some of the others.
Yeah,
in all the others, basically.
I'm checking. I had a chat with Joey Finger as well, but it wasn't about the. It wasn't that conversation, because it's missing a lot. So Joey, maybe. What is his name? Travis.
This Joe Travers, not Joey.
Joe Travis. Damn, I can't find it anymore. But I definitely had a chat with him, and he was telling me he was playing a Yamaha set back then. I think it was a custom set by Yamaha. Yamaha, I think it's pronounced correctly. because I was always impressed how clean the drums on "It's Only Time" on the song, like
Yeah.
like the snare drum was so
Yeah.
clean, and I think they also played some Ludwig snare drums.
Oh, okay, interesting.
That's why that's why I bought a Ludwig snare for
Okay.
for my Gretsch set, and Gretsch is something they played as well, I think. But I don't know. I should reach out to these musicians and see if
Yeah.
they have more to say. Maybe we can get some of them in one of the episodes.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
let's
that'd be
start with
fascinating.
let's start with the drums.
Okay, so we have, as usual, just our plain kick. All okay.
Yeah.
Along with a sample.
But one thing I want to say, I think it's maybe a little bit unusual that they most of the time they didn't record two mics on the kick, because like when you record kick, many people
in
have
and out.
yeah, many people have some people even make three different microphones on the kick, and they most of the time have only one. I don't know why, but
I mean, the Lost album had 3 as well.
yeah, they had the Lost
sub
album
as
had
well.
like and they also had on the snare drum like 5 microphones, not 5, but it was more than what we see
Yeah.
here. But they usually Mike, I think, and CJ and Drake, they used like one mic on the kick, and not 2.
I mean, it could be also all they had.
Could be, yeah. But also maybe they knew they will like fix it with samples. So because
I guess so.
I'm
Actually,
I'm
no,
doing the
saying
same
that,
thing
it
actually.
did it in the end? Because of that
Yeah.
Pro Tools comment, it said that they didn't use any because they didn't think it needed it. But I guess
Yeah.
Rob Jacobs disagreed.
See that's right now something I would think is interesting for me to know. Maybe not for everyone, but it would interest me like to know how they placed this one microphone. Did they? Because I believe probably they put it half into the hole of the kick drum, like.
Oh, I see. Like
I don't want to show it with my hands
yeah.
because it will look like something different.
I'll make it a GIF.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like it's
Yeah.
like because
So
when
like
you-
a bit of both.
because I think that's like a standard mic position. If you only use one mic, you put it half into the drum hole,
Right.
pointing at the beater
Yes.
of the kick, and
Yeah.
that's what they probably did.
Possibly.
I don't think they just put the mic into the kick and then like, fuck it, let's just record. I don't think they did
But
that.
yeah, you never know, though.
never
Who
know.
knows? I mean, I guess they would have refined the techniques over time, but no.
Actually, we have pictures of the back house, and there's, I think, drums on the picture, and maybe there's mics on it. So I need to check on how the mic position, because probably they used that position for all the records they did.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, now we should continue with
That's all right. So these are these are the kicks. I'll even put the drum squash on it so you can hear the bit beefier now.
Yeah.
And then we have, of course, the snare, which has the top and the bottom. A little bit of reverb. But you can still hear a little bit of the bleed, of course, of all the cymbals as well.
Which is which we have to say is not unusual.
Yeah.
I mean, you always try to have like not as much. You always try to not have so much
Yeah.
bleed in the other mics, but it's like not possible without AI to not have any bleed in it. It's like maybe it's possible with like really new microphones that were like made for that, but I don't know if that exists.
Well, like a sort of cardioid pattern or something that rejects the sides, and yeah. Yeah, I guess so. There's also a couple of samples on the snare as well, which again didn't exist, I assume, until Rob Jacobs got a hold of it, and all of them together now. So just to refresh your ears, these are the snares as they were, and with the samples. Like, it's subtle.
Oh, I can't hear. I actually don't hear the samples.
So here are the samples on their own.
Okay, so it's really like in the background.
It's mixed very low. Yeah.
I have to say something about that. I think it's impressive how on all these sessions, but also like the unreleased sessions like All Alone at the Disco and Shades of Grey, whatever, Our Love, how Mike or whoever like were searching for these samples for the songs managed to find samples that fit so perfectly into the actual drum set, because that's the way you do it. Like, it's you can use any sample on the snare, to be honest, but what they did was they found samples that perfectly match with the actual sound of the drums. So, and that made it like 100% better. Like, I don't know, that's really nerdy, but I'm trying
it's
to
true,
do
though.
Since we checked out these stems. Since then, I noticed that, and since then I'm trying to really look at that when I work on my own things, that I have samples that really
Complement
not
the
only
kit.
makes the snare bigger, but also like really matches together with what I have. It's just impressive. And by the way, it says the one sample says Big Mono. I think I think Big Mono is an old external MIDI instrument. I think I have.
really?
I think I
Maybe.
have the Big Mono drums somewhere.
Interesting. You could be right. The other thing, just on what you said there about them finding, the perfect samples to go with these instruments, is I think what they were doing. Let's say if the source material for the snare, for example, was a bit too bottom end, rather than just EQing a little bit of highs, I guess they'd just find a crispier, for lack of a better word, a slightly higher snare sample that will then blend with that, rather than just duplicating exactly the same kind of frequencies.
Yeah.
I think that's what was going on here.
Yeah, and that's what I couldn't explain because of my English.
No, you did fine.
But I think it has to do with the frequencies of these samples and the snare, and together they are complete.
Yes.
They are not complete if you play them alone, even though it's a sample. I don't know, they are just pros. I think
absolutely.
It's because that. Like, they had they had enough experience with that, and they knew what they were doing. It's.
But also, I would hazard a guess, but I don't really want to say this as truth, but my guess would be that they were just going for what sounded best to their ear. I think that's what it would have been like. I'll try all these samples, and this one sounds good. I'll mix it in, and that would be my guess.
That's definitely. I think you're definitely right with that, because what you described is what others do, and what I did for years, like finding like I want the snare to sound like that. I use that sample, but no, this is what my snare sounds like right now. How can I find a sample that makes the sound complete of that? Like, a little bit bigger, but also, is there something I miss at my original recording? Maybe because I just don't have the best mic, or I just don't have the best drum kit or the room.
Yeah, or both, or all. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
we talk too much.
That's fine. Just to move on, we have the hi-hat. We have a few different hi-hats here, actually. We have the main chunk of the drum piece, which is the hi-hat here, and then we also have the intro hi-hat. It's recorded totally separately. So this hi-hat, fairly straightforward. I think this also goes into the drum squash, it looks like. But either way. Again, a little bit gently EQ on that. Nothing massively going on there. But then we have the intro hi-hat, which has hard pans attached to them. So they sound like this.
Yeah.
Which everyone knows that as that kind of synth is coming in and the keys. We also then have the toms. Again, these I believe are the kit. There are a couple of times in the album where there's some toms samples, but very, very rare. But they've just been isolated from the tracks and then bounced separately. So those toms.
Yeah.
So all fairly straightforward. There is a ride track as well, which according to the Pro Tools comments, it said, this track doesn't sound particularly good, but it's there if you need it. Bracket, poor mic placement, my bad.
I hate this track, to be honest. Like it sounds like shit. But maybe people should decide, like, please comment shit if you think this track sounds like shit. But I see it's muted, so they didn't use it. But I don't know what was going on. Maybe they had some joints that day. I don't know. It's weird.
Let's have a quick listen. This is exclusive. You won't hear this in the track. Yeah.
Actually, I have to take back everything what I just said, because this is not the track I was referring to. I think there's somewhere another...
It was the whole song.
No. No, I promise somewhere there is a track of a ride, which is not a real ride, and I don't know if they use that, but it sounds awful. Maybe I'm wrong in the song.
Probably
maybe it's a different song,
it.
but it's somewhere. Maybe at the end of the song. We have to check.
Yeah, I don't think it's this song. I think I know which one you mean, but I don't recall the song. But yeah, I don't think it's this one. Then
I don't want to cut this out, so I will just leave the. I'm just like a dumb person.
We're both equally dumb, and together we create extra dumbness.
Yeah.
So we've then got two overhead mics left and right, which are panned, and then a couple of room mics.
Yeah.
So you can kind of hear the whole kit as if it was real life. And then everything together, other than the ride, Yeah, it's great.
Nice.
And just to hear a little bit as well of the bridge part, where it kind of all kind of cuts back and then it builds again. There's rim shots.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I also want to say, I think it's like a little bit unusual that they have echo on, like a delay on the hi-hat.
Yes.
Maybe it's on the whole...
you noticed
like,
that.
It's the whole drum set, maybe, but...
I can tell you, it is, let's see, definitely on the hi-hat, definitely the hi-hat, and that could be it. And a little bit of the... Oh, no, the kick did have it active, but there was no send to it. So yeah, just the hi-hat, which was unusual as well. That's actually in some of the other Pro Tools sessions for this album, but they are just not played at all. And also, interestingly, it's everything up until just after the bridge. The last chorus is then muted on the drum effects.
That's weird.
Which maybe they felt like it just wasn't needed. But
maybe. But also we will see in this episode that there will be stuff coming in the last chorus, I think, which probably has to do with that it wasn't needed.
Yeah, maybe it just felt too much and just a mess, I assume. And then we have our loops beyond that, which all kind of standard things. Here's the first one.
That's cool.
So just kind of rhythmic in the background. You almost don't hear it, to be honest with you. So I guess it's maybe one of those things that's maybe more felt than heard.
Yeah.
And then we have a second loop, the first one of which is muted. It just wasn't in the track. And the second one here.
Yeah.
Just like a weird kind of bash snare. Lots of reverb on that, just baked into that track.
Can you play it with the drums?
Absolutely, yeah. So this is all of those pieces together. Just gives it a bit of movement.
Yeah, and it works really good. You wouldn't think that it works that good.
Yeah. And again, there was a comment on this, which was, use your discretion on this loop for the last chorus. Not sure if it's needed, but it was there.
Yeah. Great.
Which is quite nice. And also, just so you can hear the first one of loop number 2 in the context.
Yeah.
It's so subtle.
Yeah.
It's almost like a DJ scratch is the effect of it. Really.
But the real DJ scratches from DJ E-Rock, you will hear on Fool the World.
Absolutely, yeah. That plays quite a big part throughout, actually.
I'm not lying. Probably this probably gonna be like a double episode. I don't know, because it probably takes so long.
Yeah.
So maybe. Please forgive us.
We'll find out. Might be the only one that's half an hour long.
Yeah.
The irony. Then we have a tambourine. Pretty certain it's a loop with the occasional hits. All the same. So not really much that I feel like I need to say on that. We will move swiftly forward. But we then have something that I'm not sure anyone would really notice unless they really paid attention, which are triangles.
Yeah.
Like the classic school thing that, everybody held up and hit.
Everyone is a pro on that.
Absolutely. Unless you're my dad, which has no sense of rhythm at all. You would not get my dad to play these triangles for sure. Again, I think these are MIDI too.
Really?
And this, I think so.
I was sure that CJ had a lot of fun playing these like that.
I'd like to hope so.
we gotta ask. We gotta ask him somehow.
Yeah, that would be good. There's 3 different types of triangles that all play together, which sound collectively like this.
Sounds like MIDI.
Oh, I think it is. And they happen a little bit later on. I think exactly the same sounds. And then.
Can you play them in context with the rest of the?
Yes, I can.
What we already checked.
This is with the drums. So basically, all the percussion together.
Ah, okay.
So it's kind of like the last hit of "Know What We Do" line.
Yeah.
And it happens exactly the same place, just for the bridge.
Oh, I didn't expect it to be on that part.
Yeah. It's quite well hidden, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
but it's obvious once you know.
Yeah.
Sounds really weird, but yeah. You wouldn't ever think that there's a triangle in this song.
No.
And then we get to the bass, which again, played by Mike, according to the credits. And it has just a DI track. So just so you can hear the clean sound of how little processing this has, this is the clean. And there's also something really interesting that I find fascinating with these clean DI tracks, Kai. You might be able to answer this one. I'm not sure I can work it out. A lot of these, including the guitar and the bass, has these very spiky transients.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think it has to do something with the gear they use to record. But
Yeah,
also,
maybe what the analog it's going into.
also another thing about the bass on the tracks, and I don't know if it's on the It's Only Time record, but Mike used to make a lot of high cuts in his bass
Right.
recordings. Like I have seen sessions where it was completely like the highs were completely cut off. Like like there was not existing. They were not there. And I mean, you can check this if you go on an equalizer and see if you see the frequencies, if you do if you turn on the analyzer. But I'm pretty sure probably it's cut it away in this session as well.
Interesting. I wonder if that has to do with if it ever went to tape. I'm not sure. Because that could
I don't know.
soften the highs.
I never worked with tape, so like I didn't really produce music on tape.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think it more has to do with cleaning the space for other instruments because
Yeah.
you don't want to have something in the way in the mix, because the bass is usually not on the high frequencies, so you would cut
Yeah.
away anything that's there because it's most likely like a sound you don't want to have there if there's something.
Yeah.
And you
Because
have
you'll have your guitars and your vocals taking that space, won't you? And everything else.
Yeah, and you do a lot of, as well, on the other instruments, you do a lot of low cuts to have the bass frequencies not in the way of the bass. So
Yes.
the mixing is, you have, like mixing, you can't explain it, but it's years
It's
of
almost
learning.
like you
and-
have to carve room for the individual instruments, don't you?
Yeah.
So they're not stepping on the toes of each other and masking
Yeah.
each other.
yeah, and that's
It's just a constant juggle.
hard to learn, but that's what mixing is about. You just want every element needs to have his space, and that's why you do, like, a lot of people like have already preset Logic sessions or Pro Tools sessions where most of the tracks already have low cuts because
Yeah.
they don't want to have the
don't
lows.
need it.
If you don't have a low vocal, for example, you don't need the low frequencies to be there.
Because it'll just be unnecessary rumble that you don't hear it
If there's
anyway.
anything, it's something you don't need. So yeah.
And just, I've opened up an equalizer here, and also you can see on these transient peaks, they are actually peaking. You know, they are hitting the edge of of where it's beginning to clip, but the actual content isn't. It's really weird. I'm just going to play a little bit this clean, and we can see how much it shows on the EQ. So it's no higher than
It's definitely
2000 hertz.
it definitely has a high cut on it already.
Which could be possibly, I don't know, maybe the bass itself. You know, you've got your tone controls.
Yeah, could be that.
Who
But
knows?
it also could be like, I don't know if the bass was like, if they directly recorded the bass or if the bass was going into something where they could control also within EQ.
So it could be that, like, the desk it's going through, maybe.
Yeah, but also it could be that these are just not the raw tracks. So it also can be that, I mean,
They had processing in baked from as raw as it can be.
Yeah.
And here is with the amplitude settings. Which is really cool. And I'm just going to then turn on the EQ settings that they had and see if that changes the waveform. Not really audibly so.
It usually wouldn't change the waveform. I mean, I don't know which version of Logic do you have, but in my Logic, at least the waveform always looks the same. Like,
yeah,
like I mean, until I bounce like a track of that. But,
I mean, the waveform should change if the EQ is at the bottom.
I don't know. I never tested that. It is interesting. I never noticed
because the plugins will go top down, won't they?
Yeah, but maybe also it's something you can turn off somewhere. So maybe my Logic doesn't have this enabled. So I always see the original waveform, maybe.
But yeah, that's essentially the bass. I do quite like the bass line used in that pre-chorus.
Yeah,
it's really cool. Beyond that, when it gets to the chorus, just so you can hear that. Here we go. You can really hear that pick attack.
Yeah.
The other thing that surprised me is that the downward melody, the da-na-na-na, isn't in the bass either.
Yeah.
Which really surprised me. Yeah, it's great. And the rest of it is very much the same. There might be, I think, an octave part in the bridge. And then it drops again.
I think that part is played with a finger.
Could be.
But I think he got the pick back now.
Definitely for the chorus. Now it is. Because you can really hear that kind of scraping.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely though.
Yeah.
So that is the bass. Then we have the main synth, which is the kind of keyboard bit that you hear in the song. And what I find quite interesting about that is in the Pro Tools sessions, they say the idea is to have this be the featured instrument instead of piano when it's there.
Yeah.
So they wanted the balance to be that the piano is ducked whenever this synth is there. And there's also a bit of a synth reverb on there too. Mm-hmm. So this is what that sounds like. This is what everybody knows this song to be. It sounds so wet to be.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can describe it. There's the E flat major 7. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I love
so
that
cool.
sound.
I love that sound, and I love. I don't know if Mike played this, but
I think he did. The credits say the keys are Mike
I love
again.
how Mike always does this one thing with his fingers. I cannot explain it, but it sounds like that. Like he's doing. Like he makes these three.
Just chromatically running through.
Yeah, whenever he changes a chord, he makes these. I don't know how to explain, but you hear it like when maybe it's also
know
the
exactly what you
piano.
mean.
Yeah, and I love that. I wish I could play this myself because I can play a few stuff on the piano, but whenever I want to really do that stuff, it's not. That's not as easy. But
Yeah.
Mike does this on a lot of songs, even his like solo stuff.
Especially Fool the World.
Yeah,
You hear it a lot in the piano for that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think to what I understand that he's doing is, so he's playing the chord before what you're about to say. He's playing chord 1 and then transitioning to chord 2, which won't be far away. There'll be one note in between of that he will ride going into it. So you get that, like a little super quick, almost not recognized, but just
it's like
passing.
It's like the double bass on a drum, like a double kick on the drums. That's what he's doing on a piano, when
it's
changing
true.
a chord, and that sounds so cool. That's kind of his style of playing.
Yeah, it's very bluesy. That's I think what that is, to be honest. I don't think much changes though beyond that. Let me just hear it again. This is near the end.
It's the bridge.
Yeah.
Always better when you know. Right?
Yeah. That was what you were referring to, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a slow one, but
Yeah.
it was that thing.
Let me just take off the echo. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. So that's your main lead synth.
I wish I would know which, if it's a MIDI thing, which library that comes from, because that I have a lot of these sounds, like these keyboards, like Rode keyboards, like Rhodes. What's the name?
Like a whirl?
Yeah, that. But I never found this sound, this exact sound.
Yeah.
And it's definitely some of these older retro 70s things. But I don't know which one they used. I would love to know.
They definitely used some sort of contact library. I know that, but
And I have a lot contact stuff. So, but I also have like Trillion and Keyscape.
Oh, yeah.
Which has like the best keyboards, and maybe it's there, but I didn't find it yet.
yeah, fair. Yeah, it is a very nice sound though.
Yeah.
And then of course there is the piano, which the piano there are 2 mics.
But it's mono, right?
Yes, yeah. So it's still in the center, but it's mic'd differently. So you end up having, I'm assuming one will be kind of more bass centric and one will be maybe, more high. But the comments on this one say Piano 414, which is this one, is the track I was using, but use whichever you like more. And both were used. Mm-hmm. So,
Like Rob was just lazy and he wouldn't know, man. I don't know. I'm not gonna listen to that. I will just use both on the same volume.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no additional EQing to these.
Yeah.
It does go through a compressor with an EQ combined, but this is what it sounds like.
There it is. But
That's what. Yeah. I knew that. Yeah.
Hey, you can turn up the master a little bit if you want to, like on top of the.
Good
Logic.
idea. Let's see.
Wait a second. Do you know what I always miss on that part? Like when it goes...
That other rhythm here.
Play that part again. Like...
Oh. Yeah. Very easy.
The live thing, I miss that. Because they didn't do that in the studio. He kind of does that. But in the live thing, the piano player, he was more like... He played these notes on the... he did something with his fingers to get this little melody. Maybe I will just show it right now.
Yeah.
So, Jordan, now you know what I mean. He does a little melody there. Yeah.
Yeah. Which sounds great. It's a shame that you can't really hear it because, as I say, this piano track, because the lead synth is there, it's very low.
Yeah.
You really can't hear this very much.
There it is.
Yeah. Very staccato. So good.
You know, you never notice that the piano does this little
Not
run
at all.
In the song. You don't notice that it's going up, doom 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 doom.
Yeah.
It never heard it before.
Not at all. Shall I play a bit of that with the synth?
The piano is so dreamy.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm just going to play a little bit with the synth. Let me knock the volume of that down just so it doesn't break our ears. So something like this. So quiet.
Yeah. That's a little louder. That part.
With the bass. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, really cool.
But yeah, it is a real shame that some of these piano parts are hidden away because they are really, really tasteful.
Can you show the piano on the end, like the last chorus?
Yes,
the
I
ending?
can. So this is the coming from the bridge into the last chorus.
Oh, one thing,
go.
that's something maybe for your guitar, because I think in the last pre-chorus, the chords are different than all the other pre-choruses. The last chord of the pre-chorus is different, I think, than before.
I don't think so.
No, because like in the long part when they play, and I know it's always better when you know. I think I can't show it to you on the guitar because I can't play these chords.
You might just be referring to the fact that the bass drops. Is that maybe what you're thinking? The actual chord itself is the same.
With my detuned guitar. You're right, it's not different. But why did I think it's different? That's weird. That's really weird because I'm pretty sure they did something. Can you?
I think it's because you're hearing the fact that there's an accent on the fact that the bass is descending. So you have this.
Yeah.
You're hearing that as opposed to that.
Yeah.
But it's part of the same chord. It's the
but
same thing. It's just an inversion.
Can we compare it really quick in the song, because I want to hear the first pre-chorus and then the last one. Yeah.
So
just because I don't trust you.
So the first one is. So that was that one. Not very bass heavy. In fact, there kind of isn't really a bass in there, which is maybe what you're hearing. And then this one, I believe, has more of a bass descending.
But in that other, on that part, he kept playing that one note he didn't play before. Maybe that's...
I mean, it's maybe subtly different, but it's the same harmony. It's the same chords, effectively.
Strange. Really strange.
But it might be that some of the other instruments are doing other things, possibly.
Maybe.
And everything combined just feels that way.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I'll just continue the rest of this just so you can hear the piano to the end. So nice. And it just stops.
Yeah, but the end, the chords of the ending are so lovely.
Oh, they are, aren't they? Yeah, it's like it has the sense of a really nice cadence to it. Mm-hmm. It just it just comes together perfectly. So there you go. That is the piano, which is lovely. You have then a little bit of more keys in terms of the organ. Now, there's something in this that I never noticed, which was there's some really lovely glissando sliding parts again, and I just never realised. In fact, I never really paid attention to the fact that there was an organ at all, truthfully, because it's super low in the mix. But this is the organ itself. Just, that kind of descending is great. As I say, very, very low in the mix. This is what that sounds like in conjunction with that piano and the synth. You can't really tell.
Yeah, but it's there.
It is there. You've got the same thing that happens a few times and then a little bit towards the end where it does change. I'm just going to raise the volume of this little bit so you can hear it.
Yeah.
It's very distorted as well.
Yeah.
In a nice way, like a rock organ.
But it's so 70s, that sound. It makes the 70s sound.
Oh, it sounds perfect for it.
Yeah.
So I feel like just so you can hear those bits together, and then that is all the key parts to it.
Yeah.
This is the outro. It's lovely. There you go.
Yeah.
You know what you were saying about the chords feeling different? I think it's because, so when we play it and how we hear it acoustically, we're playing. I appreciate that you won't really know these chords by name, but I'll say it for everybody else.
It's E7, right?
Oh, nearly.
Really?
So we have E minor.
That's what I meant. It's the English, you know.
Of course.
Like
yes.
minor and 7, like that's like kind of the same in Germany.
Yes, of course. But you'll know this next one, though, won't you? So what's that one?
That's E major.
You're very close. It's just it's the translation.
E major
again. It's
7.
E minor major 7. Yes, yeah.
That's what I wanted to
So,
say.
you know, very very close. Yeah, it's just the translation on that. So that's this chord number 2. To then E minor 7. To then we do normally like an A or an A7. Okay, which is what we always hear Drake play.
Yeah.
But the keyboard, I appreciate I'm not playing a keyboard right now, but the same idea, which is kind of what happens in a little bit with the guitars, is doing a kind of descending pattern. So you hear this, which is really what that piano is doing.
Yeah, but sometimes I feel like sometimes one of the high note is different. It's more like na, that note, like missing there. Na.
Would it be?
Yeah, but in the higher octave of that, like
Oh.
yeah.
I mean, that would make sense because that's still A. Dunno. But anyway,
Yeah.
I think it's the bass that you're hearing. Anyway,
yeah.
enough chat about that. So then we get to the guitars. Yeah, the kind of fun things. So there's actually not a lot in way of guitars, to be honest with you. And if I remember correctly, both of these chorus guitars just do essentially the same sort of thing. The same voicings. There's not much of a difference with them. So let's just hear that. So this is indeed the chorus. Super heavy.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, that little part. Would you
That's
say?
great.
Would you say that? I wonder because you play guitar way better than me. Like maybe you hear if Mike plays mainly the 3 deep strings, or if he like the 3 low strings, or if he plays full all the
Let's
strings.
hear.
Because I feel like sometimes maybe he plays mainly the low strings and then hits some high strings when he wants a certain thing to be there, but I'm not
like
sure.
an accent.
Yeah, because I hear some high notes there, but maybe it's only on one of the tracks.
Good question. So this is the clean. So there's definitely some high there.
Yeah,
Yeah, you definitely hear that
Yeah.
high thin string there
yeah,
up in that. But yeah, there is something interesting though that I'm not sure anyone else would really notice, which is in Mike's guitar here, which I'm assuming this is Mike. The crediting says Mike and Drake, but I think this is Mike playing this. The C part of the chorus, before it goes minor, he's actually playing a C sus2 before
Yeah.
the minor. Which is I think, kind of interesting, and it's not.
You know, I don't think like. I think like it's not interesting, but you know what it is? Like it's sus. Right. Sorry, I had to do that bad joke.
It is funny though because I teach guitar, and so sus chords are things that come across with my students,
and they are very young. And and sus is like a word right now.
Yeah. Or they'll say, does that mean suspicious? You know? And I'm like, no, it's not as exciting as that. And then it's a discussion of what sus really means. But it's like some
cool.
sort of spy thing.
Yeah. That's cool.
Although I always think of that as that James Bond card.
Yeah, totally.
Now that is a sus card.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just something kind of interesting. So you have this G to a B7 to an E minor to this C sus2 to the C minor.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
There is also a little sense that I hear in this E minor. It kind of I didn't really do it then. It goes E minor into E minor 7, but I occasionally hear the root of the B on there. So really, it's a type of an inversion of a G. Let me just play that in context, and I think you'll hear it in this.
Yeah.
So really, it's implied as an E minor 7, but it's got an inversion in it.
Yeah.
Which really becomes a G/B. But anyway, yeah, it's just something I noticed.
Yeah, great.
And then of course you have the what is it?
Yeah.
Little thing as well, which is fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to know because I tend to play only the low chords when I want to have that kind of sound. But it's maybe also because I play upside down and maybe it doesn't sound as good.
Oh, I see. Maybe because you'll be more likely to hit those thinner ones, won't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to not, because I know it's different playing upside down, but yeah. I mean, I'm not really a guitar player. So, I mean, I play it, but like maybe I'm just not doing 100% clean finger chord work, whatever. So maybe it's because of that it doesn't sound as good if I play full strings.
I mean, it's really interesting. Again, this listeners might find this fascinating about you, Kai. So we discussed before that you don't really know the chord names or the kind of theory behind things. You just know what sounds right.
Yeah.
For at the moment. So, as Kai just said there, he plays guitar upside down. Now, most people will think, like a left-handed kind of guitar playing style would be like Jimi Hendrix, where you have the strings tuned the opposite way. But no, Kai literally reverses his guitar and plays it that way. So the thick strings are on the
but the
floor.
The great thing is, I have a left-handed guitar.
Okay.
So that means I applied the strings like wrong on here. Like I put them.
So they should be the other way.
I put them on here upside down and had to make the gaps a little bigger.
Oh, in the nut.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because
doesn't
when
it really rattle?
No, I think.
Oh.
I think it's a little detuned, but it sounds nice. And I think, I did this because whenever I buy like a more expensive guitar, I don't want to buy a like right-handed guitar and hold it wrong, because first I have the knobs. I will hit the knobs all the time, and also
it's not something you want to do.
Yeah, and also it looks like shit if I it doesn't look good. So when I buy a more expensive guitar, I buy a left-handed and then I put on the strings upside down, which makes more sense, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah.
and it doesn't sound any different. So
Fair enough. Yeah. And I suppose the one benefit, though, of playing a right-handed guitar upside down is that it will be cheaper than sourcing a left-handed
right-handed,
guitar.
would be cheaper, but I mean, whatever. It's like, I think it's usually like $100 more, which is a lot. But I mean, I have only 3 really expensive guitars. Like I have that Gretsch one.
Oh, yes.
I have the Telecaster, and by the way, the artwork is
really cool.
custom made by my brother, and
Wow.
it's inspired by the live record of Drake's. But actually,
great.
it's part of my EP called Euphoria. By the way, it's really dirty. The guitar's really dusty and dirty. And then I have a red Strat, which is also, I think, the most expensive one I have.
Is it a little bit like that one? You can see.
Yeah.
Like the candy apple kind of.
Yeah, I think it's a Japanese one I have,
Okay.
probably. And it's like the most expensive one I got. And this is also like a left-handed because
Right.
it would feel weird to pay so much money and then hold the instrument on the wrong, in the wrong
yeah.
place,
And then
you know.
not be able to play it well because of the
Yeah.
positioning of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how you do it, but hey, you
Just-
make it work.
You would know if you just like, I mean, the first time when you like saw a guitar and you took it on the wrong side, you have it upside down. That's the first thing you learned when you had a guitar in your hand the first time. So that's how you learn it. Like, I don't think it would work if you.
Unless you're one of my students, that will never happen.
Yeah, no one told me. I was alone in that rehearsal room,
Yeah.
and there was a guitar on the wall, and I just grabbed it, and it was wrong, and I didn't know, and I could play something. So I had a few chords figured out already, and from that moment on, I think my muscle memory and everything just
Makes sense.
was fucked. Like I couldn't change anymore. So
No.
that's how it is now.
There is a really cool thing. This is so off topic. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's an instrument, a guitar teacher called Justin Guitar that is on YouTube. And
Yeah.
a few years ago, he did a beginner's course where he learnt the guitar the wrong way round to test his own course, which I thought was really interesting. But anyway, we're not about that
I need
today.
to watch that actually.
It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
Then in the chorus guitar part, I mean, it's called chorus guitar, but really it's littered a little bit throughout as well in the second verse,
Yeah.
which is playing the little octave part
Yeah.
that is kind of throughout, just so you can hear that, and it's only on the right side. And you can hear bleed.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that was reamped.
Yeah, can you play it in the clean?
Yes,
the clean version.
absolutely.
I don't
has
hear any
nothing.
bleed there.
No.
That's
So
yeah,
I
must be
suspect
reamped.
it's- Yeah.
Must be.
Which I don't think happens very often. I think it's done it a little bit in Fool the World.
Should we-
There's not many.
Should we explain for a moment what that means? Actually,
We probably should. So where this has been recorded direct in, DI, into the desk, or the interface, whatever was used, it would then be sent to, rather than having a virtual simulator of an amp on the computer, it would be sent to an actual amplifier and then recorded with a microphone.
yeah. And probably, I don't know why. I mean, the bleed shouldn't be there because I don't know. Maybe the studio wasn't the best one. I mean, because why would they make it so loud? Like have the music so loud?
Yeah,
That's strange,
I can only
but-
imagine it's in the same room, and maybe the
Maybe.
mic wasn't that. Sorry, the amp wasn't that loud. I don't know, because
Probably-
usually it's in either a cabinet or a separate booth.
Yeah. So maybe they were too lazy to put it in the booth because
Or
they
maybe it
they
was just
obviously
experimenting.
but they obviously had a booth. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Although
I
we
didn't
don't know
know- I
when
didn't know that
this was
before.
recorded, though.
We don't know,
guess.
but I think around 2005,
Yeah.
2006.
I mean, you never know. It could have been a little bit beforehand.
Could,
But, yeah,
because it's also
who knows?
like a song CJ had a lot of written for. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, who knows? Then we have exactly the same thing again for chorus 2, but then from this would be kind of like the pre-chorus, the bridge going into the very last chorus. I'll play you that as well. And just to stop you, that is that descending bass that as well makes it feel a bit different. And then we enter the outro.
Yeah.
As it goes, yeah.
And you could hear that the automation was going down
Yes.
before
yes.
the end of the song. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I forgot that was the thing, but yes. But yeah, so very much the same kind of idea, really. But yeah, sounds great. And then, of course, we have the lead guitar part, which is interesting because it is doubled with exactly the same sound source, but an octave lower.
Yeah.
And they sound like this, which is the thing that everybody hears. However, in this version of it, I've not reduced the volume of it in the automation, which it would have done in the original. It would tail off before what you're about to hear. So it sounds like this.
Yeah, that's something I discovered when I heard the stamps the first time, and I was kind of confused, like if this was like just in my tracks or if this was like in the record, because it's.
Yes.
I would have like turned this down earlier, you know.
Yeah, it would be something more like this, I think. Like you don't really hear that tail of it.
Yeah.
And in fact, when I first kind of learned to play the song, I thought it just ended as that.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it going.
Yeah,
there.
I was always thinking it's like. Da, 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 da,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
on that.
exactly.
Because that's the chord in the chorus.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that it's like it must be like you imagine it, or it must be like that it's playing at least the chord of the chorus, but it's not doing any of these, you know.
Well, it's going to the B chord, which is the inversion. It's the third of the G chord of the chorus, so it is going to a chord within the beginning of the chorus. It's just not the root. But yeah, those parts together sound like this. So it works, you know, absolutely works. And then that is just repeated again. So it's the same thing 3 times throughout. But then we have the delay guitar, which is quite nice. There's one thing that I'll say, though. One of these had a plug-in on it that no longer exists and I couldn't get my hands on, which was, I think, Soundtoys Pitch Blender.
Okay.
Just not a thing anymore, and there's no downloads anywhere for it.
Yeah.
It was discontinued software. and this was on one of the guitars that you're about to hear. So you're going to hear it more clean than it was in the record.
Okay.
But it's still the same source. So this is the delay guitar, which is hard panned. So, you have that kind of pre-chorus part to it.
Yeah.
And then the second half to that, which is in the middle, this is the one that would have pitch blender on it. But it sounds like this.
Interesting.
So that picked guitar part would have originally had some other kind of little altering sound to it. Yeah. But then that is the same for the other iterations of it in the chorus. It ever so slightly changes at the very end. It just gets a little bit more aggressive in the in that pitch blended guitar. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just kind of it sort of gets a bit more fiery. And then we have the part that is the kind of chicka chicka bit, which is the delay guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then we have exactly the same thing again. Leading into the chorus.
Yeah.
And that's it in terms of all the guitar parts there. Mm-hmm. In case anyone finds it fascinating, just to show you, so this is all round that E minor chord that Kai also correctly identified, as well as going to E minor major 7 and eventually E minor
sus.
7. Not the sus this time. No, that was just a translation error.
Suspicious chords.
Yes. That is just being played as a triad of an E minor.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of played through, and then the root of that is effectively dropping. And so on. So it's fairly straightforward, and then it ends up on the A minor.
Yeah.
Essentially. So if anyone was fascinated by what that is what is happening. And then we have the lead vocals.
Yeah.
A bit of a similar story to everything else. There's very little done to it in terms of processing. There's a bit of de-essing. There is some EQ, compression, a little bit of delay. There isn't any reverb, however.
Let's start in a minute, because it's getting too heavy. Du bist zu schwer. Du bist zu schwer.
So, so here is the lead vocals, just isolated, very, very clean.
All alone, guess again, you've been known to take the hand of any man who will fill your fantasy. You're there, a big mistake. You're the pride of everything that comes around this messed up town, you know, and I know, and I know.
It's funny as well, you can occasionally hear a little bit of bleed.
Yeah, there's like...
Of the keys.
Yeah, but also I feel like I hear in the low frequencies a lot rumbling.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Can you check?
I can. Even after the plugins.
A big mistake.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Wow. Can you isolate that? Can you cut away the high frequencies? Like make a high cut? We can listen more to what's going on.
the actual rumble.
Yeah.
Let me also.
Your fantasy, then big mistake. You're the pride of everything that comes.
It's a lot of the plosives.
Weird.
And the kind of mouth
weird.
sounds.
Why didn't they cut this away? I wonder.
I guess they didn't feel like it needed to be.
Well, you can hear it so clearly. I was I was thinking we had some connection issues with Zoom.
Interesting.
But it's definitely in the recording.
Do you want to hear it as well without the plugins on?
Yeah.
So I'll take off the delay as well.
And I see you there, a big mistake. You're the pride of everything that comes around.
It's like, air noise and mouth, like breaths. There you go. So that even with, I mean, sometimes some of the Pultec EQ has, actually in this case it doesn't. It normally has a little bit of a boosting to the low. In this case they've cut some, which makes sense, but I guess not as much as it was necessary.
Yeah. Strange.
But yeah, there you go. And then we have, just to play a little bit of the chorus for you.
It's always better when you find out we've been lying, cheating, baby. Give me a sign, give me a reason, make up your mind. And darling,
Like a piano version.
fool couldn't see through us, know what we do.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then there's not really a lot to say in this. To be,
I mean,
to
you
be
can
honest.
you can go to the bridge part. We can play a little bit on there.
Good plan. So this, I should also say actually, throughout there is a very low amped Vox sound. So you have that really heavy distortion on there. I'll play you a little bit with both, and you'll hear what I mean.
Yeah.
There is also a duplicate, an overdub as well. So the bridge would be as so.
And I know, it's always better when you know. And I know, it's always better when you know. And I know, it's always better when you find out we've been lying, cheating, baby. Give me a sign.
And a little bit of a production trick as well. I'm sure you realise this, Kai. A lot of the choruses are just the same, but the beginning is slightly different.
Yeah.
So it feels like a fresh take.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of music will probably be done that way. It'll be comped to have the best sounding chorus, and then just the beginning or the end might be slightly different.
Yeah. We also can, like, I know this is not in like topic of the podcast, but I can just mention, like, in Vertigo. Did you realize what they did on Vertigo? What's the chorus? Let's escape into the sun, fly away. Let it go. That let it go thing.
Yeah.
They just had let it go, and then they used that let it go.
Oh, I
let
see.
it go.
Literally
let it
say,
go.
yeah.
And they used the same thing. Even though Drake sung 100 takes on that, Mike probably thought, this sounds the best. We're gonna loop this. Let it go all the time.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It doesn't matter if you listen to the final mix. I mean,
Not at all.
And that's probably what they did on It's Only Time as well. Sometimes reusing older recordings from not older recordings, but
Yeah. No, yeah. It's just finding the best takes, isn't it? And then, because why not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? And then just to hear the end as well, I'll include the little overdub as well.
Yeah.
And darling, only a fool couldn't see through us and know what we do. You know that it's true. The things that you do, I'm out of my mind in love with you.
There you go.
Teeny Drake.
Absolutely.
Breathing a lot. With you.
Yeah, hence the really low sub frequencies.
Yeah.
And then we also have the little I know answer vox is what
Yeah.
they've called it in the bridge, which I find this really fascinating. On the they've got an echo farm and amp farm on this.
Yeah.
The echo farm has some automation applied to it, and you'll see the repeats go through the roof and then just immediately cut.
Yeah.
And this is what you'll hear. And now that you've heard this or about to, every time you listen to the song, you'll just hear that now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Which in the
probably
context
just
it works.
laziness.
I don't know. I think it's obviously for effect. Like in context with let's say with everything so far, just so you can hear that. Let me just solo all of these. It works.
And I know, it's always better when you know. And I
Is it
know.
like cut exactly before the guitars come in?
I think it could be. Yeah, it's pretty much by the beat.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it's near enough.
Little later, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is something that happens. Of course, we have Bubba the dog,
Oh yeah.
which is Mike's dog.
Yeah.
And he has been shown in a couple of videos.
Yeah.
surfaced
And he
on
was
YouTube.
I think he was a lot in the studio with Mike.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And that's that. I think I don't know if the dog is still alive, but I think he was at least a few years ago, like
Okay.
2 years ago, something.
But I mean, if we think about it, this album is like what 20 years old, so I guess not.
No, but he was definitely like 3 years ago. So
Wow.
probably he died by now, but he was really old. He was
Yeah.
like he probably was really young back then.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that I can imagine. So, but yeah, this is what he sounds like. This is the dog and a little bit of control room bleed. Mm-hmm. So that would have been during tracking of vocals, and the dog just barked, and it became
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah,
Because you can hear, I think, Drake taking a breath ready for the next part.
yeah,
And what's really quite sweet is in the Pro Tool session, the comment for this is, "My dog Bubba, make sure we can hear him," smiley face.
that's sweet.
So yeah, so that's quite a nice thing. And obviously now he's immortalized in the song
Yeah.
forever,
That's great.
which is quite nice. We then have the kind of exciting background vocals. And what you'll see, Kai, here is if you're watching this on the video version, anybody listening, you may see that some of these background vocals are different colors. I've taken the liberty to make Mike a little bit lighter and CJ a little bit darker, so we can kind of see the differences there.
Yeah.
There's also you may see if I scroll down a couple of what's called new back vocals. So I'm assuming they were newer additions again.
Yeah,
So, just to hear the combination of some of these background vocals near the very beginning.
Fill your fantasy.
It's great. Combination of Mike and CJ.
yeah,
And we have.
Comes around, messed up town. And I know,
so cool.
Yeah.
when I know.
Yeah, just supports that totally, along with Drake. So the a cappella now.
Everything that that comes around this messed up town, you know, and I know, it's always better when you know, and I know,
Just great.
Yeah.
So tastefully done.
By the
Then
way, the
sorry.
chorus doesn't include as much backing vocals as I always thought to hear
Yeah,
it
it's true.
on the album. It's only like 2 vocals or something.
Yeah. I think the only one that has 10 billion background vocals is Fool the World.
Yeah.
That has a whole heap of things. But
Yeah.
there's very little. I guess it's just what was necessary,
Yeah.
really, to create the sound. You'll see, of course, they're all hard panned. A lot of them are doubled. Mm-hmm. So not necessarily separate entities, just duplicated with a different performance.
Mm-hmm.
And here is a little bit more of the chorus, I believe, or the beginning of the chorus.
Baby, give me a sign, give me a reason, make up your mind. Darling, only a fool couldn't see through us, know what we do, you know what we do.
It's just great.
And that's something we talked about in the Found a Way episode. I think that Mike's voice has such a fullness
Yeah.
that's probably the reason I believed this is like a ton of vocal stacks in this song, because Mike's voice sounds so full, and especially on that "Know What We Do" on that part.
Yeah.
I always
that this
thought
bit?
it's more than what we see here.
It's true, yeah.
You know what we do.
It's only 2. I mean, it's 4 recordings,
Yeah.
but it's 2 voices. Like
Yeah, it's 2
voicings,
harmonies,
right?
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny you say the kind of fullness, but it's so airy for this. Like
Yeah.
it kind of doesn't sound very nice, but in the context, it works well.
Don't
you
listen
know.
to my backing vocals, because it's the same thing, especially when you sing high.
Yeah. It's, yeah. Oh, that was what he just played, wasn't it?
What?
I'm taking.
Did you see Drake's latest reel?
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah.
That was me.
It was as well, wasn't it?
It was.
That's so funny.
I didn't know he posted this in his story, but
There was no context
I mean, I thought
either.
I thought he would post it on TikTok, but I don't know. He
Yeah.
just put it in his story on Instagram.
But there was literally no, there was no context.
No, it's funny.
He was just doing for his
Yeah,
show,
because
wasn't it?
he said he saw my version I did of Move On. I had a little clip,
Yeah,
and he said,
which was what it was like without autotune.
yeah, which is a lie. But he said to me, "This is the best marketing you did." And
so funny.
and he said, "Can you do one for me?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna send you
Brilliant.
some." And then I sent him like 2 days later, and he posted this without context. It's true.
Yeah, that's so funny. So all these millions of followers will be like, "What?
Yeah,
Here's a new show. Oh, he sounds different."
yeah.
And then we have some more vocals that is for the verse 2.
Join the band and found a way. Make them think that you're a star, silly girl. Can fool the world, it's plain to see that you're just like me. And I know, and I know.
So I'm back into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because essentially that is just one harmony.
Yeah. But in this song, it
Basically.
sounded always like it was more.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. It really does. Yeah, it's great. And I don't believe there's much more except for the chica chica.
Yeah, and the gang vocals in the
Yes, that just
last
happened.
pre-chorus,
Absolutely.
and where you also can hear Melissa
Yes, yeah.
singing.
Well, was it Melissa?
It was.
Because the credit is Alyssa.
Really?
Alyssa Griffiths is what the credit is.
Okay, now I'm really confused because I had a conversation with Drake recently for this podcast. And I had this picture sent to him, which we have in our intro, where they are in the studio, because you can see Alyssa in the background. And I sent it to him, and he said, "Yeah, that's us recording I Know." And I was like, "Wait, I always thought Melissa is singing on it." And then he was like, "Let me check." And I can't remember if he said it's Alyssa or Melissa, but
Well, Alyssa Griffiths is the credit.
she's in the credits of the CD.
Credit of this song. Yeah.
Yeah, then it must be her. They wouldn't have done this mistake back then.
Yeah.
So that's that. Then we can probably be sure that, like the picture you see in the intro, which is AI animated,
yeah.
probably is from the recordings of I Know.
Yeah. Could be. Yeah.
So, and that's probably the only studio picture existing of them in the studio recording that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think so. I hope
Kinda
there's more
sad, isn't it?
existing.
Yeah,
I hope
do.
there's videos, to be honest.
Yeah, that'd be
I don't
great.
know. We don't have them.
Yeah.
Yet.
Well, I suppose I should say, if anyone is listening and did maybe do some stuff in there, we'd love to
Yeah.
see it.
Please,
It'd be
Help
amazing
us.
to share
Please
those
help
things
us.
if that's okay.
please help us. Thank you.
And yeah, this one then introduces the new backing vocals as
Yeah.
well that was recorded, not the gang ones. We will get to that.
Yeah.
Only a fool couldn't see through us. Know what we do. You know what we do.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
And then we have much more of the same. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the new vocals essentially was that really nice ascending note, which is here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's totally belongs there because
Yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe that is why I thought it has more vocal stacks in all the other choruses, because I only paid attention to the last chorus, maybe.
Possibly, yeah. But as you just correctly said, that is only in the last chorus.
Yeah.
So just for you to hear all of those backgrounds, shall I play it along with Drake's vocal?
Yeah, sure.
Or separately? Yeah. So this is with the lead vocal.
It's always better when you find out we've been lying, cheating, baby. Give me a sign, give me a reason.
So good.
Yeah.
Make up your mind. And darling, only a fool couldn't see through us, know what we do. You know that it's true, the things that you do. I'm out of my mind in love with you.
Oh, it's so nice.
Can you play again the part "Only a Fool"? Only a
Yes.
fool.
If I could, I think it's this.
No, it's one later. Yeah.
This one, yeah.
Yeah.
Only a fool.
Let me do it without Drake.
Yeah.
Only a fool could.
Okay, because like it's I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but in the full, like when you have the full mix on the song, from the song, it sounds like it's on. I don't know if it's on purpose, but it sounds like
Do you mean like a call and response thing?
kinda, yeah. The part on that "foo" sounds. I don't know if they did this on purpose. That it
You
sounds
mean
like
counterpart
only
harmony?
a fool ooh, like they go that way down.
Right.
But it kind of, the way they sing the backing vocals kind of plays with what Drake does. And it
Right.
makes sense in the end what all the vocals do
I get
together.
you.
It's like, but it's probably not on purpose. But it sounds like they did this on purpose. Like Drake sings that, and we go like, ooh, like down somehow.
Interesting.
You know?
I don't. Let's see. So these ones, I think, go up. So they go
Yeah.
up. Let me just hear these. This is CJ.
Only a fool.
So that stays the same. It just doesn't go up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure anything does go down, but I could be wrong.
Darling, only a fool.
Oh, that does.
He goes down, Drake goes down, but he goes exactly down. It feels like on a certain point where it makes sense by the beat.
Okay.
It plays with, like, I think the timing is, I don't know, maybe it's not on purpose, but it's interesting how the timing is on that part. Because when
Yeah,
you
that's
listen to the
interesting.
full mix, it sounds like this, on this part, we do this vocal game here.
Yes.
Like, I don't know.
I get you. Yeah.
Just wanted to
yeah,
point
that's an
that out.
interesting point.
I
Yeah.
need to cut that down, that explanation.
And I think, let me just hear this very last mic vocal, but I think this plays with the harmony too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is playing. He's playing the sus.
He's
That
playing sus.
suspicious thing. Yeah, so his vocal is doing the suspended of that G chord.
Yeah.
So you hear this kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I take it back. He's not. He's not. He's doing a 6.
I
Sorry,
agree
thought
with
he was
you, whatever you say.
So he's doing. He's doing something different. It's the
Yeah.
violins or the orchestration that does the
Yeah.
the suspended. I take it all back.
I agree. You were wrong, and
all
you
suspicious.
and yeah, it's sus.
But then we, just to finalize the vocals, we have the gang vocals, which, as we say, includes Alyssa Griffith.
Yeah.
And they sound like this. It's really nice, actually. They were recorded clearly as a group around one mic, but they just did that multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah.
6 times in this case. And they just sound really full. And this is what that sounds like collectively.
That's probably my favorite part of the whole multi-track, to be honest,
Isn't it
because
great?
it has I don't know, has such a retro vibe with that
Yeah.
when that vocals come in on the album.
It's a
so
kind of
big.
classic choir thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so
Like,
big.
it's not
sounds so big.
tuned.
No.
It's just perfect as it is.
Yeah,
Because it'll be full of imperfections, but collectively it just sounds good.
yeah.
You know, and let me just hear a couple of these isolated. It's just really cool. Let's see the next group. So you can really hear Alyssa in that
Yeah.
one.
She's only in one track, I think.
She could be that middle one.
At least,
Sounds like it.
I mean, she's at least she sings high on the one track, and you can really hear her.
Yeah. Right at the end, especially.
Yeah,
I know.
it's a good change on that part, like that she goes up there and does like
Yeah.
kind of like a solo thing.
Yeah, true. Shall I just play that little bit with all of those vocals together? So this is everything at that time vocally.
It's always
Yeah.
better when you know, and I know, and I know. It's always better when you find out.
So good.
It's really clever.
Yeah.
It's excellent. And we are approaching the end of proceedings now
Yeah.
with the last little bit of orchestration, which there's not a lot of, to be honest, and it's just right at the very end, which is we've got a violin, 2 violas, a cello, and another type of cello, really, which sound collectively like this.
So good.
There you go.
Yeah.
With a really long reverb tail.
Yeah.
It's funny actually because when you remove that reverb, it cuts off so abruptly.
Yeah.
Just here is.
Yeah.
It sounds so different. But yeah, it's they sound great. And just so you can hear, you've got these deep cello parts that are kind of staccato.
Yeah.
While you've got the higher violins and violas. Just really nice.
Yeah.
And one of these is doing that suspended. And then it's resolved.
Yeah. I think they used I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think they used the Vienna Symphonic Symphonic Library, yeah. Which is really popular, I think.
Yeah,
I don't have
it's very
it.
expensive as well.
That's why I don't have it. But also maybe it's outdated by now, but it was really good for back then. I think that was like a pro thing, which you should have if you wanted to have good MIDI strings. So
Absolutely. And if anyone would like to donate to our cause to get a hold of the Vienna Symphonic Library.
here's a PayPal link. Joke.
But not joking, please. But yeah, that brings us to a conclusion for I Know.
Yeah.
Of course, we have a little bit of an echo farm, which really interestingly, by the way, on all of the multi-tracks is always referenced as pan farm.
I don't know why.
And it's echo farm. But yeah, there you go. Some reverb and a couple of reverbs.
Yeah.
And essentially that is everything. So is there anything, Kai, that you want to add before we play this out and finish?
No, I think we should just play it because I said a lot on this episode, especially before we dived into it. So
Very true. So cool. Well, I will play this out and I will start adding in elements as we go. But I feel like it's worth maybe starting with that main synth because otherwise it'd be a little bit quiet.
should we maybe like say bye before we do this and end the episode with the music, like after the song? It makes sense, right?
That is a good point. We should.
All right. So I'm saying goodbye. Thanks, Jordan, for doing this detailed overview. I wouldn't do this, by the way. I couldn't do this better. I wouldn't have to. I wouldn't say so much. I couldn't say so much about the certain elements. And so, thanks for this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on, I think, Do What You Want.
Yes, that is the next one, indeed. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. Hope you've enjoyed. Please do let us know if you want anything else different, want us to show certain things. We are more than happy to do that if we can. And without further ado, we will play you out, introducing the elements of this song a little bit at a time until the whole song is finished. And we will see you in episode 3.
Let's go.
Fail your fantasy.
Just because you're a fan doesn't mean you've joined the band and found a way to make them think that you're a star. Silly girl, only I can fool the world, it's plain to see. 'Cause you're just like me, you know. And I know, and I know, it's always better when you know. And I know, and I know, it's always better when you find out we've been lying, cheating. Baby, give me a sign, give me a reason, make up your mind. Darling, only a fool couldn't see through us, know what we do. And I know, it's always better when you know. And I know, and I know, it's always better when you know. And I know, and I know, it's always better when you find out we've been lying, cheating. Baby, give me a sign, give me a reason, make up your mind. Darling, only a fool couldn't see through us, know what we do. You know that it's true, the things that you do.